Welcome to Insurance Claim Radio, where leading hail loss consumer advocate Phil Coutu and his team of experts teach you how to avoid the pitfalls of hail damage claims and how to use his team of experts to get what you truly deserve under your insurance policy. Now, here's your host of Insurance Claim Radio, Phil Coutu.
Hi, this is Phil Coutu, and I'm your host of Insurance Claims Radio. We're a show that's designed to help the consumer, the adjuster, the public adjuster, the contractor navigate some of their insurance issues and insurance claims. We're advocates often for the insurance industry and for the insured or policyholder. We're looking to give you information you need. We're going to talk a little bit about hail claims today. And one of my guests online is Mike Neely. He's from Pro Roof Solutions. And you can reach any of us at 303-997-4247. So, Mike, we're going to talk. It's been a slower year overall for hail in the state. So we're not talking to some of you people we know you got hit by tennis ball size hail out east and that. So when we say that, obviously you're saying, what do you mean we got smashed with hail? But overall, the claims volume has been a lot less this year. We've had some storms in Aurora, Clip Parker, Castle Rock, Fort Collins. Loveland has had some okay hail, and up in Lafayette, they had actually some pretty good hail go down the central street there. I think it's Public Avenue or something like that. I checked out the storm. And one of the things that's going on in the industry is it's been a lackluster year overall. So we were in here, and one of our producers of the show was like, well, why don't you talk? There hasn't been as much hail. Like, people should still get their roofs checked. So one of the things we want to bring to everyone's attention, right, Mike, is that a lot of times people don't realize the roof was damaged. And in the past, like 30, 40 years ago, people didn't even realize the roof was damaged because they were concerned, oh yeah, my car has some hail damage. They just didn't think about their roof. Because there's so many roofers out there and the business is so competitive now and people are knocking on doors, there's more consumer awareness. So the insurance industry is trying to say, oh, well, the roofers are creating the claims. That's absolutely... I'll challenge, there's a guy out there, Steve Badger, you can look him up, but I'll challenge him on that. The roofers are not creating the claims. The roofers are simply bringing awareness to the amount of damages out there that many people missed. A lot of people just don't realize their roof is damaged. And so there's statute of limitations within your policy. And so it's really important, because we've had so much hail past years, that you do get your roof checked for residential roofing. So the statute of limitations, it often says 1 year or 6 months or 2 years to bring suit in your actual contract or policy. However, there is a state law that was passed some time ago that gives you 3 years to sue your insurance company or file suit for your claim. So it's given a little bit more time, but there's also some case law that's been coming down that's been interesting, where they're saying, you do have an obligation to tell your insurance company as soon as you suffer damage. And therefore, if there is the claim I'm speaking about in particular, they're talking about a president of a condo and some of the management, their cars got damaged. So they should have known and not waited 8+ months to file their claim, and it was denied. They're saying that it caused the insurance company prejudice. So we're kind of fascinated with that outcome. So it's really important now, as soon as you discover damage, note it and you call in that claim, or at least call it a contractor. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Call in a contractor first to verify you have damage. And also remember, have the contractor take some pictures and show you the damage, because there is an incentive for contractors to even call in weaker claims. You want them to show you the damage, make sure you have a valuable claim, because when you call in a claim, it's going to be on your, even if it's denied, there's going to be a record of that on your loss run. So we're going to open it up. We're going to talk about that, how important that is. And a lot of times our adjusters do miss damages. So your first step is probably call the contractor right away, or call an expert to verify you have hail damage. Where you probably have hail damage, you might want to call into your insurance company right away, is when you have like a broken window, your car is all dented. When you get that substantial hail, about 1.5 inches or bigger, generally you have substantial damage. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to be back with Mike Neely, Pro Roof Solutions. We're going to be back with Stevie Solomon sitting in, former TAMCO rep. And we'll be right back with Insurance Claims Radio after this break.
You're listening to Insurance Claim Radio. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration. 303-997-4247. 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftop-restoration.com.
Welcome back to Insurance Claim Radio. Now, here's Phil Coutu and his team.
Hi, we're back and we're live with Insurance Claims Radio. Before the break, we were talking about how important it is to call in your claim because of some of the new precedents that have come down. And it's just really important. And because let me turn my cell phone off here live on air. It's blowing up. But it's super important. If you have any questions for us or our panel, you can reach us at 303-997-4247. The people on this panel, we do work in the industry. We do residential roofing. We do specialize in large loss, complex claims, condo claims, warehouse claims. You can reach us at 303-997-4247. And I'll pass it over to you, Mike, to speak about damage and people that wait too long or don't know that they have damage. And let's talk about your experience with that.
Well, absolutely, Phil. And this is Mike from Pro Roof. And, how important is an inspection? Well, it's absolutely the utmost of importance. We know that, it needs to be done, and we should be done on a yearly basis, and so it's kind of like your wife, it's kind of high maintenance. We need to make sure that, that you
So what you're saying is all wives are high maintenance?
Well, I don't know. Mine is for sure.
For all the women viewers, let me walk that back. I'll let Mike put that out there. But Mike's, let's be clear what's really going on here. Mike's lovely wife filled up his lawnmower with oil yesterday, Mike?
This morning.
Yeah. So Mike's coming off where he had a new lawnmower. Instead of putting gasoline in the gas, it was completely filled with oil. We're saying, Mike, it's not that big of a deal. But anyways, let's carry on.
It's smoking, and so anyway, but I've got an anniversary, so it's all cool. But high maintenance is still cool, and kind of roofs are kind of that way a little bit. It's kind of, we need to inspect it, check it, make sure it's all good and go, that we're good to go on it, and your insurance company will also want to make sure that you inspect that. A lot of times they'll come back on a claim and they'll go say, hey, this is like wear and tear, right? Or you didn't have it checked out, right, et cetera. So it's really important for, for our consumers, whether the commercial and or residential, to have this checked out on at least a yearly basis, Phil.
Yeah, it's really, really important. And one of the other reasons it's so important, we're having insurance companies now come on to claims saying, well, that's great. Yes, you had some new hail damage, but you have a whole bunch of old hail damage. We don't owe for that. Really complicates the claim. And sometimes the claim's just outright denied because you had old hail damage. This roof should have been replaced 7 years ago. It's oxidated out. We know it's not from this storm. So you got to remember, does an insurance company owe for a roof that was damaged beyond repair that it happened 3, 4, 5 years ago? So that's a really good reason to get it inspected, because at least if you get it inspected, your roofer goes, oh yeah, very mild or no damage, you can have that backup with that roofer or get in an email. And then when a storm does come, or you missed a storm because you're traveling in the summer away and you don't realize till your neighbors tell you 5 months later, oh yeah, we had a hailstorm go through. And then the insurance company comes and says, well, it looks like older damage. You would have somebody who had inspected, and you can say, well, we had it inspected a year ago, and they said it wasn't an insurance claim. So it'll save and preserve your rights.
So, Phil, how important is to document all that, right? So let's say we go out and do an inspection. I'm out there with a customer and we're doing an inspection, right? So we want to make sure that we take great pictures, we take great videos, right? And that we're able to document that so we can show that insurance company, hey, back in 2016 we did this, 2018 we went ahead and had another inspection, et cetera.
Well, it's become more and more important. These days, everything's about documentation. So the worst thing that happens is I get people call me up and my insurance adjuster said this and my roofer said this. Honestly, it's quite meaningless. It counts for a little, but unless you have it documented. And so email is a great thing. You don't even have to document it with your roof or whatever. You just say, hey, my adjuster was out today. My adjuster said this. My roofer contradicts him, said this. Blah, blah, send it to your wife or send it back to your contractor. You can send an email to your adjuster, summing up your conversation. It's so extremely important. Many, many times you'll hear an adjuster come out and say, yeah, your damage isn't the worst, but I'm going to go ahead and total your roof. And then 2-3 months go by and they send somebody else out and they say, nope, your roof's not totaled, it's minor repairs. Oh, people are furious, but what can they do about that? So it's really important because then the original judge says, well, I didn't say that, because he doesn't always have the full authority. And there's people above him, there's politics in this business. You got to remember this business is about money. So although lots of insurance companies do play by the rules and are fairly honest, and some of them are very honest, many people are not, or many people look at damage. It's not always about dishonesty. Sometimes an adjuster's trained on damage different. And so they're expecting to see the back of the shingles broken. Even though you got chipped aggregate, they're saying, well, in our book, that's not damaged. However, that's where you go to your policy because it's what's in writing. You don't know how many claims I've won where engineers with famous companies have said, this isn't damaged, it's little nicks in the shingle. But I'll be like, I got like 20 little nicks in a shingle. Yeah, they're small because we had 1-inch hail coming in sideways with 60-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, well, it's not the kind of damage we pay for. I'm like, whoa. Our policy says you owe for direct physical damage. I'm going to ask you one question. I know you're the engineer, so you're not representing what the insurance contract says. You're looking for functional damage where the shale is going to fail, correct? Yes. Is this damage caused by the hail? And if he won't answer it, I'm going to put it in an email to him. Can you tell me those little nicks in the shingle, were they caused by hail? So if I got hail coverage for my car and it gets just a small hailstorm comes in, there's just little nicks in the paint everywhere. Your car still works, it still functions, but is that owed? And yes, it is, unless the policy has a cosmetic exclusion on paint or something. So that is owed. And you would say, yeah, it's right in my face, I'm owed it. Remember, you can't see what's up on your roof. And when you do get little nicks, in the shingles, what happens is the aggregate, the little tiny stones is what the aggregate is that are on the shingles that are impregnated into the hot asphalt. That gives you your UVA and UVB protection. When you take away that protection, your shingle accelerates in age. And 7-8 years down the road, that newer shingle that got hit by the hailstorm is going to look 20 years old. It's just a fact. I've seen it many times. Even these smaller hailstorms. Mike, you've seen this, right? Where, say, Hague Engineering says basically the threshold for most shingles is about 1.25 inch hail. Well, that's in the laboratory for the type of shingles they're testing, that's true. But those are individual hail impacts. What happens when you have a hailstorm with a little bit smaller hail, 1 inch, but it hails for 30 minutes? And it's rain in there, so the hail's washing out, the new hail's hitting. When you take a spot on a shingle and you hit that same spot 6, 7, 8 times with a little bit smaller hail, do you think it's damaged?
Well, and it also depends on how hard that is and how hard the wind is blowing, et cetera, right? So, I mean, a lot of these times we see it hailing for half hour, and that can sit there and cause damage. Usually it has to be at least quarter size or larger to hit like a 3-tab roof.
Yeah.
Which is like a 3-foot shingle, and each one of them are like a foot in in circumference. But yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see it. And it's just a matter of sometimes we have to put water on shingles. We have a black shingle, and we really can't see that hail, so we'll put water on it to be able to look at that shingle.
Okay, so that's a great point, Mike, because black roofs. When I was an adjuster, I've personally, even though I'm a roofer since I've been like 13, I've actually missed damage on black shingles. And people are like, how could Phil Coutu, how could you miss damage black shingles? Well, I'm working for the insurance company. I'm going fast. It's really hard to see on dark shingles and black shingles because the asphalt's black. So when you put aggregate on a black shingle and it's fresh hailstorm, it's really hard to see unless you get down on your hands and knees. So it's easy to miss. And it's harder for the adjuster to see. It's harder for the roofer. And so when Mike talks about putting water on, it actually brings the damage out quite a bit, doesn't it, Mike?
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of times I'll either, bring me a 5-gallon bucket of water, or I'll have a nice little, well, anywhere we can get water on it so the adjusters can see it. Otherwise, they'll, their job is to pay as less as they can and move you on. Typically, is what they want to do. But my job, I work for you, the consumer.
Have you ever had a house where there's a white roof or a light gray roof and then a black roof next door? And talk about the damage, talk about the comparison of damages, even though it's the same shingle, put on the same time, same age and condition. Talk about how visibly easier on the one color it is to see the damages.
Oh yeah, without question, right? When you get into the lighter shingles, I mean, when that hail hits it, it absolutely pulls, the granulars away, right? And you'll be able to see it. Sometimes you can even see the backing into the felt. All right, so if you almost like took a dryer vent and you kind of lifted it up into the air and looked into the sun, you would kind of see that through, and that's what you would see basically when you pull that shingle off. You can kind of see through where it not only damages the shingle itself, and but it also damages the underneath layment.
And that's interesting too, because that's where we're talking about the different colors aggregate. So remember, the asphalt that the aggregate's on is black. So the closer you get the black, sometimes the harder it is to notice the severity of damage, because most times adjusters are just simply going by what they can visibly see, and it's just really hard to see on dark roofs. We're going to take a quick break here. You're live. I'm your host, Phil Coutu. I'm a public insurance adjuster. I also own rooftopandroofing.com. You can reach me or Mike at 303-997-4247.
You're listening to Insurance Claim Radio. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration, 303-997-4247, 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftоprestoration.com.
Welcome back to Insurance Claim Radio. Now, here's Phil Coutu and his team.
Hi, we're live back with Insurance Claims Radio. I'm your host, Phil Coutu, rooftоpreofing.com, 303-997-4247. Our program is here. We're talking about damage to shingles and how easy it is for the industry and adjusters to miss it on darker colored shingles. And Stevie, we got Stevie Solomon on. We're going to jump in. Stevie, he was a former shingle rep. Have you run into that yourself, where you've noticed the difference, how much easier it is to spot the damages on a lighter color shingle?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you exactly nail on the head. It is when you do have a dark asphalt underneath the granules.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to see it. And the idea is you want to make sure that it blends nicely, but at the same time, when it is black and dark. And another main thing that you guys have also mentioned before is sunlight.
Yeah.
Different times of the day where it is hard to spot damage on certain, especially when the sun's coming down, or the angle of the hit as well. So there's a lot of investigation that goes on to see damage.
And that's so important on metal roofs. Sometimes you have lighter hail. And I've personally, even though I'm a roof inspector, gone, I can't really see the damage here. And then I've been back on the roof right at sunset, or when the sun's coming at a different angle, and you can see the smallest shadows. And you're like, wow, we really have damage to this roof. It's just very hard to see. And the reason it's sometimes hard to see on metal residential or commercial roofs is the roof's sometimes very dirty, dusty. So you just can't, it just doesn't stand out at you, but it's there. So often what we'll do is we'll pour water down the roof, right, Mike?
Yeah.
We'll have a spray bottle, clean up the area. And the water, because the reflection from the daylight or the sun, it can bring out the different spots of damage.
Phil, I tell you one thing that I really highly recommend. I hear there's like 4,000 roofers now in Denver, and but every one of them, and even the consumer, should go down to like Owens Corning. They're over like at 58th and I-25, and take the tour of how they make these shingles. It's very, very interesting, and you learn so much, and you can learn about warranties. They can see how they test these shingles, how they make them. It's fabulous, right? So go talk to Mike down at OC. He's really great. He'll even feed you some lunch damage down there and go through the tour. Highly recommend it. You'll learn so much about shingles and how they're made, what temperatures, how they computerize all this, and how they've got to come together and what type of backing they're using, etc.
Yeah, for the consumer, it's a great thing. I've done some of those tours. I've done them at the Carlisle factory, the Duralast factory, because I am a roof inspector. And every time I see the process of the final product being put together, I always learn something, if it's the scrim, or learn to say, hey, even though I can't see the damage, maybe this is getting damaged. And that's an important fact for everyone to know out there. You got a panel of experts here, and we specialize in those claims when you know you have damage, or if the adjuster came out, maybe you have $1 million building and you're springing some leaks 6 months after the hailstorm, and the insurance company or their engineer said there's no damage. Well, that's when you want to call us, because often with our forensic background, and we have a $300,000 inspection lab, we'll come out and we'll find your damage. And it's super important. We'll find sometimes the scrim is broken, or the UVA coating on a flat membrane has been busted, so it's going to deteriorate faster, which means that you're going to have Swiss cheese in 5-6 years. You're going to be springing leaks everywhere on $1 million roof, and you're not going to be able to claim it. It's really important.
So, Phil, go back to Stevie over here. Stevie, can you explain to the consumer about, warranty on this roof? And sometimes they have a 20, 25-year, 30 lifetime 50-year. What's that all mean to the consumer?
Well, the consumer needs to watch exactly what the dotted line or the small print says, because a lot of times you get the lifetime shingle, but it's all based on testing. That's how they come up with it. All these companies, they test their shingles to different lighting conditions, wind conditions, heat conditions, and based on that, that's how they come up with these numbers. But our goal is to, first of all, identify what the material is, and that's why the lab comes into play. I've seen Phil's the mobile lab that he has. It's a work of art. Some of the top technology is inside of it, where we're able to forensically test these materials. Because as you've seen, there's thousands of manufacturers out there that are creating products. But what we need to do is we're protecting the consumer, the client, the person who's been paying their premium month to month. So that's our job. And so with the warranties, ask professionals like this to read the warranty, because a lot of times when you get the warranty, it's at least it's a 2-page, but it's in font 6 with the.
That's true.
So Stevie,
font 6 is lucky sometimes. But the biggest thing too, you guys, is don't forget, almost all those warranties usually about an inch, and sometimes just. If you've had hail, they exclude hail and wind damage. Winds often, even though you'll have your contractor put on the roof often about 55 to 65 miles an hour, you'll have the manufacturer give you a wind warranty, but it will be excluded with gusts or named storms over 70 miles an hour. It's really interesting, the warranties. So although we got great manufacturers, they're in business to make money, they limit their liability. So the big thing is, if you have a hailstorm and then you have something come up that might even be a legitimate manufacturer defect, you gave the manufacturer a way out because your roof was damaged by hail or lighter hail that you didn't discover. So they don't owe for it.
Right. And most manufacturers don't cover for hail.
Right.
Most of them don't cover for it. I mean, now we got a couple of new products on the market, been in the market maybe a couple of years, that have some sort of hail warranty.
And they only cover up to
it.
a certain size of hail, like the impact shingles. I can't remember if it's 2
we just
or
broke
2.
the record. We had 4.5 inch hail.
4.83.
8.3. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Who's gonna warranty against that?
Stevie, that's as big as your head.
Hey, is it?
No, you know what's so funny? This is going to sound almost racist, but my friend Stevie's a darker chocolate color. My friend Mike's light. Their teeth are almost the exact same shade. But because Stevie's darker, his teeth stand out so much more. And it was reminding me of like
the contrast,
the white aggregate on a shingle.
It might
How
just
come the
cost
damage
more.
stands out more? Because your teeth stand out. It's like amazing, man.
So we do want to.
I know you got that blue light at home, but
That's-
okay,
I
I won't
do.
tell you. Let's not bring that up.
That's my
So we do
secret.
want to follow the manufacturer's installation instructions
Oh, yeah.
and to maximum product performance to get it right.
We're
That's
absolutely. I mean, when you talk warranty, I met a homeowner 2 weeks ago. He was like, "Oh, I've been a contractor before. I'm going to put on my shingles by myself." I was like, "Hold on a second here, buddy. If you put it on, if there's any issue with it, and somebody comes back and they ask you who installed these shingles, right? The reason why we're in business, why we have all these certifications that we do have, is because we've been trained to put on according to manufacturer specs. And when you do it, they perform, because that's how the manufacturers test it, right? The reason that they have their specs, it's like, hey, we've tested it this way, we've installed it as such, do the same, and hopefully you'll get the same results.
So we need proper installation. I mean, and a lot of times these manufacturers, they can get out of their warranties because they weren't properly installed correctly, right? So
Right.
there may be a little white line on that, on that shingle that shows.
You gotta
where they should be
hit the
putting
nail
those
line.
nails, right?
Yeah.
And, you talk about nails, right? I mean, you get into where we get into 4 nails is 80 miles an hour. We get into 6 nails is 110. You get up to 130 with a Class 4 high-impact shingle that we're talking about, right? So, and we need to make sure that we're doing all that to get the maximum warranty out of it. And, of course, Colorado, we get this hot and cold. Maybe you can talk about that, Phil. We get hot, cold, and are they going to last 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
Yeah, true. I would say it's great to have a 50-year warranty, but these warranties, for the most part, are all prorated and sliding. Sometimes they'll give you 100% the first 5 or 10 years. You can check your manufacturer because they have no problems usually then. Problem is, if you're 20 years, 25 years into a shingle, even if you do have a warranty claim, you got to jump through a lot of hoops and there's not much percentage left. It's really not worth it. Sometimes too, it's only materials. They don't pay for the labor to install them, so it's not a lot. We are, you guys are live with Insurance Claims Radio. I'm your host, Phil Coutu. I'm a public adjuster and owner of rooftoproofing.com. Check us out there. You can always find a lot of good, helpful information. You can get a hold of any of the experts by calling 303-997-4247. That's 303-999-4247. And on our next show coming up, we're going to talk about a certain situation that happened where we've created a company that's going to help the consumer who has a troubled claim. And that's whether it's troubled with the insurance industry or you're having problems with a roofer. The specific case we're going to talk about is someone who's having problems with a roofer who did shoddy work and they don't know what to do, and the lady's 88 years old. And we're going to do a little documentary on that, which you'll see in the near future. And you can check that out live at rooftoproofing.com. That's rooftoproofing.com.
Thank you for listening to Insurance Claim Radio. For more information on how to maximize your hail damage insurance claim or to contact Phil and his team, call 303-997-4247. And be sure to tune in next week for more Insurance Claim Radio.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration, 303-997-4247, 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftoprestoration.com.